Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. Right, guys, so I'm here with Loneer Kavanagh and with Charlotte McIntyre. Loneer just fought on Rise of Champions 7 at the past weekend. Ronnie, well, first of all, congrats, man. I know you got the win, but what's going on with the hand then?
So yeah, I just came out of surgery yesterday, but I'm glad it's on the mend now. So yeah, I had to get a metal plate in my hand. I broke my hand. I had to get a metal plate and a few screws, but everything's on the mend now.
Perfect. So that was obviously your professional debut.
Yeah.
So have they given the sort of a timeline of when you can get back to training, anything like that?
Still in talks at the moment. I have to go back to the hospital tomorrow, but I don't think I'll be able to use my hand for a good few weeks. I'll be able to train around it. I've still got the rest of my body, right?
No, that's perfect, mate. But obviously, what are the major differences between an amateur and a professional fight? Obviously, you know, different rule set, stuff like elbows, etc. But is it a different mindset, anything like that, training wise?
To be honest, not really. Like, for all my fights, I've trained as hard as I can, so nothing changed training wise. I feel like I had a really good camp for this fight. One of the best camps I've had, training down at Team Titan. It's one of the best guys in the UK. But yeah, nothing really changed training wise. Just made sure I was fit enough for the 5-minute rounds, which I thought I was. And yeah, obviously with the different rules set, it helped me out a lot more, especially when I broke my hand.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you mentioned you're coming out of Team Titan. Both of you guys fight out of Team Titan. So what's it like coming out of that camp? Obviously, some big names out there. Obviously, Brad Pickett heading it up. You know, it's based out of London. You guys based out of London. Obviously, Charlotte, you're from New Zealand originally. Where are you guys based out of right now?
So we are both based in like Richmond. So
okay.
It's London. And we used to train like solely at Richmond Fitness Club. I know Lonnie, ever since he was really young, he'd go to Titan with our coach Jack when he used to fight. And then after he finished school, he was just like, right, I want to train full time, have a bit more training partners. So then he went down to Titan. And then I was a little bit lonely at Richmond Fitness Club. So then he just kind of said, look, just come down. And the guys are awesome now. Like everyone from Brad, Mickey, and all the guys are just so welcoming. And so, yeah, it's safe to say I get beaten up every single time I go down. But I definitely think it's going to like show in my next fight how much better it's actually made me as a fighter. And I know as well, seeing Lonnie, like it's just improved, like out of sight, out of mind, like since going down there, just because of the quality of the guys and the training partners and the coaching.
No, perfect. And obviously, your next fight, is it going to be professional debut?
Yeah, well, that's what we were hoping for, but really struggled to find a fight. I wanted to fight actually on the Rock or a bunch of other shows I know Brad and the management team went to, and you know, I don't know the ins and outs, but pretty much couldn't find an opponent, couldn't find a fight. So I was hoping to have made my pro debut on the same card, which would be quite cool. But yeah, as of now, I'm still waiting. So still training every day. We were actually meant to go on a holiday today, but we've had to postpone that. And then after that, though, hopefully we'll be able to go towards the end of the week. Maybe we'll see if he's allowed to fly. But the idea was to kind of go back for the holiday and then hopefully something's come up. Like, I don't know, maybe May, June. I don't know. But I just want to fight pretty much and find anyone. So it's pretty disappointing. But
was your last fight? It was 2017, is that right?
Yeah. Oh no, 2018. So October. So
it was October.
For on Cage Warriors Academy Southeast.
Okay.
Like the bantamweight title. So it was my first time in a lower weight class, and then now I wanted to fight bantamweight. But yeah, it's just there doesn't seem to be anyone out there. I'm hoping some of the big shows will start to bring on some more female like bantamweight fighters.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'm just going to be ready and waiting when the time does come.
No, it's perfect. Well, I saw on your Instagram you were training with Olga Rubin, she won her Bellator debut, right?
Yeah, so I think she's now 6-0, I want to say. And she's been on Bellator, I think, at least 4 fights now, I think. Yeah, so she came to Titan, I think, just to train once. And then she, again, realized the levels that were at Titan and realized that's where she wanted to be. So it's been awesome. She's still based in Israel, but she's come down like every month or something like that for 2 or 3 weeks. So she's been my main training partner. So that's been awesome. I'm super happy for her to win her fight in Ireland, in Dublin.
Yeah, no, I saw it. Obviously, Bellator making big waves in Europe, you obviously still got the promotions like Cage Warriors, Cage Warriors Academy. They're putting on a show next month in Essex. You had ROC. What's it like to fight on ROC? You've got a pioneer in British MMA like Brad Pickett on your side. He's pushing it. You train with him. The whole environment in Rise of Champions, is it anything you compare yourself to? Like you fought in other shows. What's it like?
So, for me, Rise of Champions is one of the most professional shows out there.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think for my last 3 to 4 fights I fought on the card, and every time it's been very professional. The weigh-ins have been professional. The show itself has been professional, and it's an awesome atmosphere. You get some shows where it's not as good as Rise of Champions. And Rise of Champions has like a very nice setup, a massive ring, a full-size cage. So everything about the show just screams professional. And obviously having Brad and Mickey as the promoters is awesome too. Brad being one of the best fighters in the UK, right? Very much near.
I think it's a big platform as well, because I know a lot of the guys like Tinchy that fought on there after becoming the pro bantamweight champion. He went on to Cage Warriors, and then in a couple of fights he was fighting for their title. So I think it's an awesome platform as well. So just for amateur fighters and for pros.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sure Nathaniel would have fought on there as well before Barma, and then obviously into the UFC. I've seen them train. They trained at the old gym I used to go, because I'm based in Staines, so I used to go to Locker 27 in Weybridge.
Oh yeah.
And Brad, I saw his fight with Uriah Faber. He was in the gym just throwing weight about. He's a savage. He's an absolute nutcase.
It was definitely Brad.
Yeah, I can imagine. So obviously, what's next? If you hadn't have had the injury, would you have planned a quick turnaround? Would you have taken a little break? Obviously, you had a holiday booked, but what's the focus now whilst you repair? You obviously train. Is there anything else you do kind of to keep yourself preoccupied?
Well, because of the hand now, I just got to train around it. For me, if I don't train, I'll go insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to train as much as I can around it. Just get the rest of my body really strong, really fit. So hopefully, as soon as my hand's better, I can get the rehab done and then fight as soon as possible.
Well, no, that's fantastic, mate. And Charlotte, obviously, you say you're trying to get one in May. Do you reckon that'll be on ROC, or do you reckon that'll be anywhere?
About ROC, like the upcoming fights. I'm hoping on anything. I was hoping, I guess, like to hold both titles for the Cage Warriors Academy Southeast. I was hoping that would maybe lead to a couple more opportunities, either on Cage Warriors. But I know, like even on Bellator, they've got some girls with some interesting records, and I'll fight anyone. Like I kind of get to that point, where some people are picking and choosing with their pro debuts, but I'm pretty within reason, pretty happy to fight anyone. And so any show that has any bantamweight fighters, hit me up and I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, that's perfect. So where were you guys meant to go on holiday? Where was the holiday booked for?
Morocco, actually. So it was meant to be a little bit of an adventure trip. We had like sandboarding organized and stuff, but obviously,
I'm still happy to do it.
So yeah, he's saying he's still happy, but I think the surgeon was under very strong advice that he, one, they weren't even sure whether he should be flying, but two, it was like obviously none of those activities could be done. But I think we both work really hard. Like we both work at Richmond Fitness Club, and we both work quite long hours.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to just get away, and like we don't really take any time off. Like even when we're not in fight camp, I'd say we train pretty much like we're in fight camp.
Yeah.
Just because for me, I'm still pretty new to the sport, so I've got so many skills I need to learn, where I feel like when you get on a little bit more, it's just about honing those skills and maybe about S&C. But we train so much that sometimes you just need like almost a forced break away from training. So where there's nowhere that you can train, whether you can just whether you hike or do whatever, but just somewhere where, we can't actually train and we can just relax.
Yeah.
So we'll see on Thursday, tomorrow actually, we'll see what the surgeon says. And we have both fingers crossed because, we had to miss our flight this morning.
I was say you've only got the one hand to cross right now, but...
I'm crossing all of mine.
Cross my toes.
There you go, mate. Would you guys make it back in time to watch Nathaniel on March 16th?
Yeah, definitely. We're very excited about that, especially because he's on the main card now.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I was gutted when he was going to fight Tom Duquesne. I can never pronounce his surname. Duquesne. I'll say it like that. But I'll give it a go. The reason I thought that'd be a massive shot, even though it was in the UFC, to have the Barmer champion versus the Cage Warriors champion, like that would have just been a great show. But Nathaniel, you know, he adapted, he came with it, he's still getting the wins, he looked phenomenal. You know, do you see him as a future champion?
100%. Like, I reckon he can take on anyone in the bantamweight division. Like, just training with him. Like when we're fighting, when I'm fighting, it's one of my main sparring partners, and he like just beats me up every single day. But you know, like considering I can hang at those levels, it gives me massive confidence, and just seeing what that level is like I have no doubt at all that I can make it all the way to the top.
Well, no, I completely agree. Yourself, Lonnie, obviously that was at a flyweight. There's all these questions about what the flyweight division holds in the future. If you were looking to go, you know, to the big organisation like the UFC, would you consider going up to 135, or is 125 your real home?
Well, I've had 2 fights now, 125, and I'm really liking it at the moment. The cut's not too bad, and I feel pretty strong in that weight. So hopefully, the UFC still have the flyweight division. So hopefully I'll be fine at flyweight in the UFC very shortly.
Yeah. That's it, mate. If not, share a load of couscous in Morocco. I'm sure you'll be able to put on the pounds.
Yeah, I just bulk up a little bit. I feel like I'm about a lightweight right now.
Opportunities. You know, for so long in women's MMA, bantamweight was the premier division with the likes of Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey. Then 145 came, and now these all. You know, we saw Macy Chizan, who fought at 135 at the weekend. I don't know if you caught her fight.
No, I didn't.
She looked really good. So she was on the tough series at 145, and apparently Dana said.
Sorry, I do actually, because I trained with Penny Kianzad. She was
she was in the semis of the tournament.
No, I think she made it to the final. I think she fought.
Macy beat her in the final.
Yeah, so she fought Maisie, but yeah, no, I did. Sorry, I did know. Yeah.
But so obviously I think they're still trying to push that 135 division. I think they still see that as I think 145 is just a little bit too paper thin. 125 is just not enough names there. But
I know a lot of girls who could kind of would almost 64 would be. So I don't know what that is in pounds. But I know for me, featherweight's a bit too big in terms of some girls. But I know some girls like Olga is shredded at 145. She's strong and she couldn't make it down to band, or it would be very difficult for her. So there's definitely room for that weight class. But I also think that for sometimes 61's quite low for some people. So it's kind of hard, because I think females as well, it's a little bit harder to lose and to lose the same amount of weight that sometimes guys can in a cut.
Yeah.
So within that, it would be nicer. I don't know if there was a bit more kind of catch weight in between that, but it is what it is. It's just even on Cage Warriors, I'm not sure of the last time they had a bantamweight fight, because that Penny, actually, I'm pretty sure she was the bantamweight champ on that show. But again, that would have been years and years ago. And then Bellator was just all about the featherweight at the moment. So I'm hoping, I don't know, that one of those big shows decide to push it a little bit more, because if it is in the UFC, it's kind of you're probably going to end up people just wanting to go different shows to get there. I'm not sure, but yeah, fingers crossed that there's some bantamweight girls out there that will end up fighting soon.
No, that's it. Let's hope so. Let's hope it's done. You said you're relatively still new to the sport. What aspect of MMA would you say you enjoy the most? Is it stand-up, jiu-jitsu, grappling?
It's hard. I think I definitely go through phases with everything. I'm really enjoying wrestling at the moment. I think I have an amazing wrestling coach, Wally, and it's one, I think, aspect of the game that a lot of people don't train at. But the way that I view MMA is if you're fighting with someone, you get into the cage and you realize that your stand-up isn't as good as someone else's, Like the most important element is going to be that wrestling to get them down to the ground to then try jiu-jitsu. Well, like, you know, if you break it down. And so I think wrestling is so important because it's that middle ground where, you know, if you're not as strong as someone else there, you need to be strong in wrestling to be able to dictate where the fight goes. And I think that is a little bit, the girls in most divisions aren't that good at wrestling, I would say, on average. So I guess I'm trying to fill a little gap there. But I just train everything equally because I started just over 3 years ago with MMA. So I had to pick up everything all at the same time. So yeah, I go through phases where I like one more than the other. But I would say wrestling at the moment is where I'm trying to get a lot better.
No. Lonnie, what about yourself?
So obviously I started off as a striker. So yeah, I do love striking, but at the same time, for me, you know, there's so many things to work on in MMA, and I love working on every single thing. And that's why I like MMA. That's why I love MMA the most. Is because you never stop learning. There's no, like, yeah, you could be a good striker, but then you've also got the wrestling and jiu-jitsu to learn, or vice versa, right? You could be like a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but then you got to keep your striking and wrestling to the same level. And like at the moment, I'm just in love with everything. I love the striking, I love the wrestling, I love the jiu-jitsu. I just love the fact that, you know, you're constantly learning. You have to keep getting better to be the best.
Couldn't agree more, guys. Could not agree more. Right, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Obviously, you've got to find out what's going on with your holiday and stuff, so I will leave you to it.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate your time. I've actually been chatting with Katie from ROC. I'm hopefully be a part of the next ROC, just hoping to for a bit of promo on that. So hopefully we will cross paths. But
that'd be awesome.
Really do appreciate your time, guys. Have yourself a good holiday, and best of luck to your teammate next weekend.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
See you later. Bye-bye.